gets pummeled by a crowd of people. Watch this. Can you believe that? That Jacksonville, Florida officer was trying to clear the crowd when he was thrown to the ground as anti-police rhetoric escalates, as you know, nationwide. Joining us right now, somebody who knows all about this, Jacksonville Fraternal Order of Police President Steve Zona. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so pick up the story. That guy, there were reports of break-in or gunshots fired. That guy runs toward the danger. He's got a rifle on his back, right? And that happens?
Yeah. He was actually dispatched nearby to a report of a car break-in, and as he was arriving on the scene of that car break-in, they updated it, the information to say that there was gunshots nearby, and he actually spoke to the guy who called in the car break-in, and he said, "Hey, they're shooting down there," and pointed in the direction of that crowd. So that officer, you know, we've all seen it. Most recently here in Florida, in Miami, that bar shooting down there in Miami, and our officer wasn't going to wait. I mean, he was going to go down there. Didn't know if he had an active shooter situation or what it might be, so he drove down there to a safe distance, retrieved his patrol rifle, and was going to go down there and take care of business if he had to, and make sure that the very people that he was going to help, make sure that they were safe, and those same very people are the ones that attacked him.
Now, one person in that crowd helped him.
One person tried to pull it was actually a female, off of him. You can see, I think it's the guy in the red shirt, but he tried to pull her off, but nobody else did. Everybody else sat there and watched, and everybody else filmed what happened to our officer. And quite frankly, we've seen it all over the country all last year, all the rhetoric from the activists, and really, truthfully, some rhetoric from elected officials that we feel like has emboldened situations like this, like there'll be no repercussions for, jumping on police officers and hurting them.
Steve, this is so different than anything we've seen in the United States throughout my lifetime until present day, where usually, it's people, good Samaritans in a crowd will jump up and help the police officer. They won't jump up and jump him.
Yeah, you're right. And what we kind of want to make clear is that, we don't think this is a reflection on Jacksonville, because we have some, amazing citizens, amazing community here in Jacksonville. Our elected leaders are amazing. What we say this is a reflection of those people in the parking lot. And you're right. I do think that, the vast majority of Americans, I don't care what your political affiliation is, what your race is, the vast majority of Americans would help us in our time of need. But unfortunately, again, all that rhetoric and the elected leaders remaining silent and sometimes encouraging it have emboldened people to do this. And you're right. I never thought I'd see something like this.
Do you, speaking of elected leaders, do you feel that this is a problem that Joe Biden should address and say, hey, look, people are beating up our cops. You've got to stop that? Absolutely.
I mean, you've seen, truthfully, President Biden was one of the worst culprits. All last year when all the attacks on law enforcement was occurring, when cities were burning, when looting was occurring, President Biden and so many in his party just remained silent. So, yes, they're, in my opinion, they're partially responsible for this.
Steve, the White House is watching this show right now. What would you like to say directly to President Biden?
I would just say, look, President Biden, you need to do something. This has gone on far too long. And elected leaders have remained silent. And truthfully, we all feel in law enforcement it's because you're pandering to your base. And you all need to step up and do something. Let's go back to the America where, everybody went to work every day, came home to their families, and people respected law enforcement.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Exit question, Steve. How is that officer?
He is doing well. He's got some bruises and abrasions, and actually spoke to him within the last couple of days, and he's doing good. So thank you for asking.
Back on the job?
Yes, he will be back on the job shortly.
All right, very good. Steve Zona, president of the Fraternal Order of Police in that neck of the woods. Sir, thank you very much for your service, and thanks for joining us today.
Yes, sir, and thank you for having me.
All right.